hi, my name is Shamari Haynes. I am the Assistant Director for the Division of Festivals for the island of Croix. I know that sounds a bit long-winded. The Division of Festivals is run by Ian Turnbull. He's a director. And then each island has respective assistant directors who act as district directors. I'm for St. Croix. However, Hart is for St. Thomas, and Leona Smith is over in St. John. So the Division of Festivals officially was established by Ken Mapp back in, the bill was signed back in January of 2019. We were officially appointed by Governor Albert Bryan Jr. in October of 2019. So the Division of Festivals, more or less, was officially established then. Since then, we have created logos, obviously hosted the 2019-2020 Crucian Christmas Festival Parade. We've also hosted virtual events to include the St. Thomas Carnival, the St. John Festival Celebration, and a number of other things that people don't see, but we're hard. I've been a part of Crucian Christmas Festival and the festival and carnival industry as long as I've known myself. I'm 29 today. Prior to being appointed as the Assistant Director of Festivals, one thing that I've always complained about or stressed about is the importance of ensuring that festival is inclusive of everybody who partakes. That not only goes for booth owners and carnival troops, but more so private businesses who host private events throughout the season. They all contribute to the overall festival season. The one thing that I did in 2019-2020 when we hosted that festival is make sure that everybody had a voice for the most part at the table. I was very much supported by my director and my commissioner, and of course the team at the time. But I knew that it was very important to have that conversation and make sure that everybody was included. Aside from that, I think that I do definitely, most certainly bring new vision, innovation, and I think that that's one of the pros of appointing younger individuals to lead. So I attended the Cladomarco Elementary School, at our AHS Junior High School, and the St. Croix Educational Complex, where I graduated in the class of 2010. Upon graduation from high school, I actually ventured over to Edison, New Jersey to study my home health aide certification. Came back to the territory in 2011, and I actually enrolled at the University of the Virgin Islands for a few. Since then, I've been home. I have always found it necessary to make sure that my feet are planted here. I am a son of the soil, so my entire 29 years, with the exception of when I ventured over to New Jersey and of course to St. Thomas for school, I've always been here. So home is where the heart is, and it's just where I am, where I feel the most passionate and comfortable, and it's just where I really feel like my voice actually contributes to a change. So after, of course, hosting a successful Crucian Christmas Festival in 2019-2020, we really thought that we would have been able to host the St. Thomas Carnival 2 weeks before the territory shut down, and we were forced to be creative and innovative in the way that we were forced to host a carnival, because of course even in the middle of a pandemic, we still have a job to do. So pros of us going virtual was actually being able to garner the attention of not only locals who come home for carnival, but also for individuals who may be interested in checking out the festivals and or who did not even know that festival in the Virgin Islands existed. So since then, we successfully hosted the St. Thomas Carnival, the St. John 4th of July celebration, the St. Croix Festival in 2020-2021 was also virtual, and we hosted again virtual events for, somewhat virtual, somewhat in person for St. Thomas 2021 and St. John 2021, where we were actually able to host in-person concerts. Over in St. John, we actually hosted a food fair as well. So moving forward, it is our hopes to be in a position where we would actually be able to get back to some sense of normalcy as it relates to hosting events and having in-person events. But in the meantime, we are asking folks to, continue to be patient and continue to, of course, be open to the vision of the Division of Festivals as we continue to, move Crucian Christmas Festival, St. Thomas Carnival, and St. John 4th of July celebration. I think the biggest thing that I actually struggle with as it relates to, having to host festival in a virtual format would be, outside of my capacity, adjusting to like that change. So I've ran Simply Sophisticated Fun Troop for the past maybe 14 years. Prior to me starting my carnival troupe back in 2008, festival is all I know. Carnival is all I know. So therefore, every year I have the same routine. In December, I know exactly what's taking place. I know in August we're releasing costumes. I'm designing from February for a release in June. Last year, when there was no festival, I really struggled. It was really bad. I actually went to see a therapist as well because I realized that I was suffering with what I consider to be separation anxiety, and as Trinidadians may call it, tabanca, a broken heart. Because after doing something for a very, very long time and then it abruptly just stopping, it kind of put me in a position where I started to suffer with a little depression somewhat. So that was the biggest adjustment. But in the positive to that is I was actually able to identify things that I would actually like to restructure as it relates to the carnival bands. And I've kind of developed a new love somewhat as it relates to design as well. As it relates to upcoming plans for the Crucian Christmas Festival 2021-2022, it is our hopes that we would actually be in a position where we could actually host a festival in person. And even if not, and we're forced to have vaccine events, we're encouraging folks to get out there and get vaccinated to ensure that we reach community immunity. That way we would actually be able to be in a better place to host those events. It's a funny space, a funny place to work within because you have, anti-vaxxers and folks who are definitely encouraging others to take the vaccine. But what I can guarantee you is the only way that we would actually be able to get back together and party in the ways that we did pre-COVID is to go out and get vaccinated. The Division of Festivals, we're working hand in hand with Department of Health, who is one of our very close partners, to ensure that whatever events that we do go ahead and host or we have the approval to host is done in a safe manner, a safe environment. We want people to be safe ultimately. So go out and get vaccinated. The Division of Festivals, we're hard at work without official approval right now as it relates to what the festival may look like. And I can't say too much, but I could guarantee you that what I know and what I have in store is going to be very exciting, whether it is, vaccinated or not vaccinated. So I have always had a love for production. I consider my ideas to be drag queen ideas, and I actually got that term from one of my friends. I believe in going big or going home. So one specific instance that I could actually remember falling in love with Carnival is actually standing up on the side of the parade road and watching St. Croix Majorettes back when they had a marching band. And I remember telling myself in that moment, I'm gonna do that. And I just know that I wanted to eventually have entry in the parade of my own. When we started a Simply Sophisticated Fun Troupe and we entered into the parade back in 2008, 2009, we actually entered as a dance group. So it was just 28 of us, and I just know I wanted to get this accomplished one time. And then the second year, I had some folks who actually still support me up to this day, actually backbones of what I do. They actually forced me to, make a second debut in the Adults Parade, and we did. And from since then, it has just been a number of successes. I have had the opportunity to, design for Mappy, who is a world-renowned violinist. I've designed for Nikki Brooks. My designs have made it in a museum in Copenhagen, Denmark. I mean, it's just a number of things that just started to happen, and I don't ever take it for granted. I believe in being where you're supposed to be at the time that you're there. And it's just one of those things that just happened to me. So being in the role of the assistant director of the Division of Festivals is something that I always for a very long time complained, festival need to be on tourism, not knowing that, here I stand today in this capacity, not knowing that I would have even had that opportunity, right? So of course I take nothing for granted, but I also believe in following your dreams. And if you are passionate about something, do it. Do it. And that's just my, I think Nike's slogan is just do it. And I believe in that. I actually live by that. So words of advice to, any millennial, young person, even anybody, it doesn't matter the age range, who, may have a passion and may be afraid to, just go for it. Nothing happens overnight. And talking from my own personal experience, where I started Simply Sophisticated Fun Troupe with 28 people, we have reached record numbers of over 700 individuals. There have been some very, long nights. Some very stressful situations, but I have a very good team. So it is also very important to surround yourself with individuals who share the same vision that you do, who more or less have the same passion as you do, because no one man is an island. Simply Sophisticated Front Troop have grown to the point where I no longer even deal with like registration and stuff like that. I'm just solely making sure that the production is there, because I have not only built a very strong team, but I've also been in a position where I have taught the talent that I have. So back in 2019, I remember stepping foot into my mass camp, and they were like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" But in that moment, after being offended for a short period of time, I realized that there really is no need for me to be there, because a good team is a good representation of a very good leader. And if I'm able to put individuals in a position where they don't even need for me to be there to supervise, that alone in itself for me is an accomplishment. So if you are passionate about something, if there's something that you love to do but you're afraid to put your best foot forward, I said go for it, get it done. But remember that it takes a lot of patience, and even throughout the long nights, it is not necessarily how you may feel in a situation, but more or less how you deal with it, because long term is always the most important thing. So for my last solar cycle, my last birthday, I actually learned the importance of being in tune with self. Many times we spend a lot of time doing things that people want us to do, not necessarily what we would like to do or what we feel comfortable in doing. So I actually was able to, identify things that I'm passionate about, identify things that I may be struggling with, and I use that opportunity to, grow. For my upcoming solar cycle, it is my hopes to be in a position where I could build on my strengths, and any flaws that I may have, I would like to definitely better as well. I know the one thing that I absolutely hate to do that I'm working on doing is public speaking. Everybody believe that for some reason Shamari like to be in front of the camera, but with age, I realize that it's just one of those things that I have to do. It just fall on my lap. And I just have to embrace it, because sometimes people see things in you that we don't see in ourselves, and it's just very important for us to just embrace it.